Today I would like to talk about the motivation and language learning. So motivation in language learning is about why am I learning this language, or how fluent am I supposed to be in order to achieve a concrete goal or goals, something like this. And in this video I would like to talk about three things. First, the types of motivation. Roughly speaking, there are two types of motivation. And secondly, I would like to talk about how we can maintain and also bring up the motivation. And also, third, what do we have to do when we have no motivation? In this video, I'm going to talk about the motivation in English. So this video is going to be for those who learn foreign languages, any foreign languages. As far as I'm concerned, I'm learning English. I'm Japanese. Thank you, Japanese. And I'm learning Georgian language and other languages as well. So hopefully I can share my own story on my own experiences and tips, so which can be useful for you in learning languages. So there are two types of motivation, roughly speaking. The first motivation is integrative motivation. Integrative motivation is one that, such a feeling that you learn a language because you want to feel integrated. You want to feel connected to the people who speak the language. In my case, for example, I studied Georgian because I'm interested and curious about the culture, the language itself, and I want the language which is spoken in the country of Georgia, and also I want to talk to Georgian people in their first language, which is Georgian. And as for the instrumental motivation, it's a motivation that comes from the external factors. For example, in my case, I have to learn English. Well, I love English, but at the same time, I need to be fluent in English for my career, in order to have a communication with the people in English in business or for other works. A lot of Japanese people learn English because they want to study abroad in English-speaking countries or other countries for their career, etc., etc. So this is the difference between integrative motivation and instrumental motivation. And as far as I'm concerned, both of the motivation are very important in order to be able to speak, in order to be fluent in any languages. But personally, I feel that those who have integrated motivation more likely will be more fluent than those who have more instrumental motivation. But I'm not saying that the instrumental motivation is no useful. Both of the motivations are very important and significant. And for example, I learn Georgian and I work as a translator interpreter. But I'm learning Georgian because of my integrative motivation. But at the same time, if I gain no money, I cannot live. It should be a part of achievement which encouraged me to pursue for more careers and better future. So it actually gives me more this is the instrumental motivation, right? It gives me more encourages me to learn more Georgian, the grammar, vocabulary. So both the motivations are very important, but slightly, I would say, relatively speaking, integrative motivation is in a long term important. Now, when it comes to improving or maintaining motivation, I think everyone's different and everyone has a different approach and way and style to maintain the motivation. For example, I have my own memo that I write down the new vocabularies every single day. At least I try to memorize those words, at least around 10 to 20 new words or words that that I did not really remember. So this is some kind of milestone for me, some kind of setting goal for daily level. Or you can have, you can practice your target language with your friends, or you can just visit some language, tandem, like, some kind of community or group where the language is spoken for the purpose of practice or just, communication, interaction and stuff. Or you can also use application, Tandem, HelloTalk, and there are a bunch of applications that you can find your language partner, and it's a fun, and you can through the communication and conversation, you can also practice, which gives you more motivation. Also, this is about instrumental motivation, but every time when you achieve a goal that you set, for example, scoring around 900 scores at TOEFL. Was it TOEFL or TOEIC? I don't remember. But or there are some language, CEFR, for example, CEFR, for the European languages. When you achieve, for example, A2 level, you can just go travel around, or you can just buy yourself, some gorgeous cakes or I don't know, food or something. That's what I do in order to kind of motivate myself. If I finish this, if I achieve this, I can kind of praise myself. So this is one of the ways that I do, and everyone is different. Everyone has different way to maintain motivation. But one thing that I can recommend is to kind of have opportunities or chances to get out from the comfort zone and move to the new environment, new advanced stage for in a certain period. For example, when you are in a beginner level, for example, like starting a conversation with a native speaker in your target language, of course it needs a lot of courage, but that is the first step, to be fluent in the language, right? Or if you are at the intermediate level, just doing some presentations and making slides in the only in the target language. For example, I did a presentation about linguistics, second language acquisition in Georgian. The preparation was very hard. Everything was in Georgian, and I had to talk in Georgian in front of lots of people. But it was some sort of stress for me. But at the same time, when I finished the presentation, it gave me some kind of a success experience, right? So getting out, trying to get out from the comfort zone periodically is very important. Or if you are at the advanced level, for example, trying to find a job or such an opportunity, for example, doing interpretation or translation or something like that, working or doing such an activity to where the high advanced level of language is acquired, such an opportunity is very good to have. And what do we have to do when we have no motivation? This happens, we are human beings, and we are I think by nature kind of lazy, I guess. Well, because at least I am very lazy. And then when I feel very lazy and less motivated, I take break from learning particular language that I have been learning. For example, Georgian, I have been learning this language for 8 years. But of course, it doesn't mean that I have been learning the language every day. I had some break, 1 week, 2 weeks, etc. It's a normal thing, and it's like sports. It's like an exercise. It's like working out. If you just keep working out every single day, your muscles get tired and you cannot grow up. Contrarily, so it's good to have a break, and obviously you will forget a certain amount of vocabularies or grammatical rules, but it's fine. It's actually even better when you forget something and when you kind of revise it. The memory becomes stronger, and more, how to say, more firm, that you will not forget for a longer period. So when we have no motivation, it's fine to take a break. We don't need to feel like certain stressful. No, because language learning should be fun. So, or the second, putting the language learning into a routine. For example, I read when I wake up. I read the news in English or in Japanese first, and then English and Georgian at least, so that I can kind of subconsciously and automatically have a contact with those two languages at least. And also, as for Russian, Spanish, French, and other languages, I have friends on applications, and I have friends in general who speak those languages, and I talk to them, just daily conversation or something. But still, on a daily basis, I have the opportunity or chances to use those languages, and I don't need to feel hustle, And also, when we have no motivation, we can kind of look back the initial reason why we started to learn the particular language. For example, why am I learning this language? Why am I learning Georgian? Sometimes I feel like, what am I doing in my life? But it's just normal. But because I'm learning Georgian because the initial reason was this. I want to be able to speak Georgian fluently so that I can get to know the country, culture, and so that I can have a communication with people in their foreign language, Georgian. When I look back at my own initial reason, motivation, I feel like okay, enough break, enough vacation. I will just go back to learning more. And also passive input also can be very useful. Also, what I mean by passive input is, for example, putting turning on the radio or videos in the target language. For example, when I have no motivation in learning Georgian, I put for example, I turn on the radio or podcast in Georgian, and I can just not like listen to, but hear the sounds and the language subconsciously, and I just don't need to kind of try to memorize the new vocabularies. When I hear new vocabularies, I just just skip them, but still keep getting the input passively. Meanwhile, active input is when we have lots of motivation and we want to improve the language level so badly, we can just kind of memorize 30, 40, 50 new vocabularies a day. This is I would call this active input. You try to input when you try to have inputs and actively memorize and digest the new information. But at the same time, when we have no motivation, it's fine. Passive input is enough to keep the contact with the language. So in this video, I talked about the two sorts of motivation: integrated motivation and instrumental motivation, and how we can kind of maintain and improve the motivation. And when what the heck we are supposed to do when we have no motivation. As I shared with you, I guess it's very important to have a concrete motivation. We need to realize that why we are learning the language, and it's fine to lose motivation periodically, but try to have contact with the language, even passively, is enough. And when we have active, when we have like very passionate motivation, when we have lots of motivation, we can kind of periodically have challenges for yourself to keep moving forward. That's tips that I can share with you, and hopefully this can be helpful for you in learning languages, and Georgian or Japanese or any languages that you are learning.